Who's under more pressure tomorrow? Bruce Arians or Tom the GOAT Brady?
This is an easy one. I appreciate this warm-up show question that you just threw me. Tom Brady's clearly under more pressure. I got 3 reasons why, and every reason has a layer. He's under more pressure because he's accomplished more. Tom Brady's under more pressure because Tom Brady has more to lose. And lastly, he's under more pressure because he is the face of the Bucs operation. When you think about Bruce Arians, Marcellus, the first thing that comes to mind, at least for me,
Kango.
No. But the off the field things that he has done. For example, Bruce Arians overcome a cancer scare. Bruce Arians, as far as a forthright leader in women's rights, and because remember the assistant coach.
This is one of the first things you think about Bruce Arians?
I think about
not risk it, the biscuit, and all that.
But my brother played for BA.
Oh, you know.
So I know behind the scenes. I know. Like every Friday he lets family and friends come to practice.
Every coach does. But go ahead.
Not mine. Okay. And your old coach Chip Kelly. We had no families in practice.
You ain't lying.
Okay, we was by ourselves.
Chip ain't playing.
So when you think about BA, you're like, okay, he went to the playoffs as a head coach 3 times, but he's lost twice. I don't think about the accolades.
Oh.
When I think about Tom Brady,
I get you.
all I think about is the accolades. Like when you think about Tom Brady, yeah, you sprinkle in there that he's married to Giselle, which for anybody else would be like a huge ordeal.
That is not a sprinkle.
That's a huge.
Yes, more sprinkles.
If I'm married to Giselle, that's all you talking about.
Hell yeah.
Giselle.
My name is Giselle then. If I'm married to Giselle, I change my first name.
And Mrs. Giselle.
Yes.
But when it's Tom Brady, no, you think about the fact of 9 Super Bowl appearances, 6 Super Bowl wins. He has more, therefore he has more to lose. When I think about Tom Brady, he got more on the line. That's why Tom Brady's under more pressure tomorrow.
I'm listening.
The other reason Tom Brady's under more pressure tomorrow is because Tom Brady, he's just done a lot more. They're kind of intertwined.
Yeah,
he got more to lose, but he's just done a lot more. It's a little bit of the same, but the reason I say it's different is because I got a full screen for you. See, I borrow from you at times, then at times I just straight steal.
Okay, same thing.
Yesterday you had a great full screen. You compared a player to the rest of an entire roster. I said, ooh, that was good, Marcellus. So I'm going to borrow it.
Thank you.
How about Tom Brady compared to the rest of the Bucs roster as far as their playoff experience? Look at this. Tom Brady has 41 playoff games, the rest of the Bucs roster. 69. Tom Brady, 30 playoff wins, the rest of the Bucs roster. 39. Tom Brady, 13 conference appearances, the rest of the Bucs roster. 15. I'm not going to read it for y'all. Y'all college or high school educated. Y'all can read it.
GED.
Y'all can read the rest for yourself. But when I think about it, bro, you brought Tom Brady here for this moment. That's a cliffhanger for my next lap. But just know, Tom Brady's under more pressure because he has more to lose.
I love a Friday take from Acho. You know, as Coach used to say, get your mind out the parking lot. You have 1 foot out the door already because it's the weekend. I get it. Because that take was, your first and second layer was the same. You just wanted to talk longer. And then, then your third layer is my full screen that I used yesterday, Big Ben versus the Browns. Now you're going to use the intra instead of inter where it has its most impact. I digress. It's on Bruce Arians. Stop this, Acho. I give you one line and one line only.
Please.
Pressure is always on you to make it versus the made man. Think about it. To make it, it's more pressure. We've been in this position before. You ain't got to think that hard. Let's go back to when we were in college. And everybody was like, Acho, you killing it at Texas, even though y'all record, sorry. Acho a beast. Acho go get drafted, right? And then you talk to your boys in the league. So you went to UT. So you have a huge fraternity of brothers already in the league. I went to Columbia. Guess who I called? Myself. I was like, hey, Marcellus, how the NFL look? Oh, it look good from here. So the point is, you have to make it. That's pressure versus somebody, even if he's struggling in that role. That's a guy who's like, okay. All right. So now let's equate this to Brady and Bruce Arians. Brady is sitting there like, I'm a made man. I already made it. Even in failure, it's a success. I told you before. He's won 6 Super Bowl rings in 20 seasons. We're not going to count this one. 20 seasons. That's 14 if we're going pass fail. A failure, according to Acho. He has a mattress to lie on, full of feathers, full of success and failure. What does Bruce Arians have to lie on in case this goes wrong? Nothing. He's 1-2 as a head coach. We already talked about it. Oh, no. As an assistant coach, though, he won a couple rings. Yeah. How does it feel to be like a guy who's a head coach now saying, yeah, you know what? I won a Super Bowl as a wide receiver coach. Yeah, I sure did. That was good. And then another time I was an offensive coordinator, moving on up, but I still didn't do it when I was the man. So I'm looking at Bruce Arians, who has to make this transition. And his success has to have a translation to greatness. Pressure's on him. Tom Brady's been here and done all that.
I don't mind your take. It's a little confusing, but I don't mind it. I saved my best take for my second and third last, Marcellus. I just had to warm everybody up.
Right.
The real issue, and fans all get this most simply, coaches get to hide behind the mask. Literally, because of COVID, and figuratively. Marcellus, I'll start with the Browns. When the Browns lost to the Jets just a few weeks ago, you came on this air and you said Baker Mayfield was terrible. Baker Mayfield turned the ball over, completion percentage awful. Baker Mayfield was terrible.
3 fumbles.
Now, if you really took the time to watch the game, or if you didn't have a personal vendetta against Baker Mayfield, what you would have said is, why in the world did Kevin Stefanski allow Baker Mayfield to throw the ball 53 times? That's the biggest contributing factor to the loss. Okay, you don't want to talk about Baker, let's talk about Tom, who we both have an affinity for as far as his talent. Tom Brady, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, worst completion percentage of the season at 57% when they played against the Saints. The Bucs lost 38-3. Oh, God, that was terrible. Now, at face value, the headlines read, Tom Brady, is it over for Tom in Tampa? But you really think about it, Bruce Arians, why did you only run the ball 5 times, including one kneel down, so 4 times? See, there's more pressure on Tom Brady because Tom Brady will get blamed if and when the Bucs lose. We're not going to sit there and say, Bruce Arians called the worst game ever. No, Sal. We're going to go up there and we're going to put pressure on Tom Brady. What do they say, Marcellus, Wiley?
Who are they?
Everybody with common sense. They say this: to whom much is given, much is required.
I like that.
To whom much is given, much is required. Tom Brady has been given more, $50 million contract. Tom Brady has been given more. You get to call the plays. You hand-select the plays, Bruce Arians said. Tom Brady has been given more. He hand-selected the players, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski. To whom much is given, much is required. That's in football, that's in life. Tom Brady's been given more is required of him, more pressure.
He's been given more, and he's given more than any other player who's ever put on the cleats at the NFL level. I'm going to say this again, because I don't think you really appreciate this.
Say it.
He's the most decorated NFL player ever. Guess what that means? Equity. Guess what that means? Even if my house fluctuates in value, it's still worth more than yours, bro. Bruce Arians, worth more than yours. You need to get on up. Get your value up. As Too Short said one time, when you talk about money, buy you some. How can you buy you some money? That was a deep line right there. Here's the thing. You blaming Kevin Stefanski in games. You do too many pass attempts. You put Baker in harm's way. Baker lost that game in fumbling. That wasn't pass attempts that lost that game. I digress. Let's talk about this situation and look at what Tom Brady is looking at. If Tom Brady performs well and they lose, who's the pressure on? Who are they going to blame? They're not going to blame Tom Brady. If he balls out and they still lose this game, you know why? Because there's a difference between performance and outcome.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Talk about that. Talk about that.
Tom Brady will be saved by his performance. But Bruce Arians will only be saved by the outcome. And so far as a head coach, the outcomes for Bruce Arians have not been as successful as Tom Brady. Is that true? So guess what? If you're Bruce Arians, you're sitting there like, I at least got to close the gap between me being a guy with a GOAT on his roster and a GOAT roster. I have to close the gap because everyone's going to know. Wait a minute, Tom Brady wins Super Bowls. Oh, when he had Bill Belichick. Oh, Tom Brady now loses a playoff game because of Bruce Arians. Maybe Bruce Arians should be a little more buttoned up. Maybe Tom Brady should have stayed in New England and helped that situation. All of that is going to put pressure on Bruce Arians, who knows he has a gap to close.
I'm not going to let you steal my take and get away with it.
And he would have got away with it, too, if it wasn't for those mangy kids. Shout out Scooby-Doo.
I'm the one who says we judge by outcome, not action.
I didn't say that. Marcellus says performance versus outcome, and Emmanuel bites it.
All you did was change a word, performance.
Oh, my God, Webster. I'm sorry. I didn't know I stole all your words.
Here's my point, because what you said was very wise because you took it from me. You're exactly right. It actually doesn't matter, if I'll be honest. You said it right, but you quantified it incorrectly. It doesn't matter what Tom Brady does if they lose. Don't think
it does.
Don't think if Tom Brady throws 3 touchdowns to 1 pick, they come out here and lose 27-24, that we're not going to come up here and question Tom Brady losing to Washington. Don't think for 1 second we're going to give him a pass.
If he balls and they lose, they're going to look at everyone else. That's how the game goes.
Balling is subjective. So that's the disconnect.
No, we on the same subject. What you mean subjective?
Balling is subjective. Because you said, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to tangent.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not going to tangent. But I'm going to say this. If Tom Brady loses, it does not matter what happens. If Tom Brady loses to Alex Smith.
We're doing that.
It's done. We're not doing that. It's done. That's the way the media works. If Tom Brady loses, it's done. But I'm going to say this because I'm not going to get lost in the sauce right here like you want me to. I'm not going to get lost in the sauce. Tom Brady got here for this moment. Tom Brady was brought to the Bucs for tomorrow. Okay. Tom Brady wasn't brought to the Bucs for September 13th to January 3rd. That was Bruce Arians' job. Bruce Arians resurrected the Cardinals from anonymity to wild card and playoff losses. So when Bruce Arians was hired by the Bucs, hey, can you resurrect us from anonymity to the playoffs? Bruce Arians, just do that. Get us to the playoffs. Tom Brady was brought to the Buccaneers for what you do when you get to the playoffs. Tom Brady wasn't brought to the Bucs just to get there. Tom Brady was brought to the Bucs for tomorrow. Tom Brady's season starts now. Bruce Arians' season, Marcellus, was them first 17 weeks, including a bye week. That was Bruce Arians' season. That's what we needed you for, because Bruce Arians has only shown that he can take teams to playoffs as a head coach. He ain't shown that he can really win there. Tom Brady has shown he can win there.
We always get to the same place different way. Like, I'm always going to take the boulevard, you take the streets, and I'll sometimes take the back alley. I ain't scared. Here's the thing. You look at this Bruce Arians playoff resume. I'm going to add right now, as you don't listen to me, prepare to give me Bruce Arians' playoff resume, because I'm about to give you Tom Brady's. Please. Tom Brady's first all-time with 30 postseason wins. First all-time postseason yards, passing yards. First all-time passing touchdowns. First all-time postseason completions. Oh, my God, he has more. First all-time with Super Bowl wins. Okay, that's playoff success for Tom Brady. You tell me what Bruce Arians is, because that's going to be the difference. If Tom Brady does what Tom Brady does in these moments, which is show up and perform, then they're going to say, if y'all don't advance, if you don't win, it's not because of Tom Brady. 43-year-old Tom Brady, they're going to look at Bruce Arians, the coach that was brought out of retirement to try and save this franchise, who put the roster together with the help of Tom Brady and with Tom Brady on that roster. There will be no more excuses.
Let me ask you this.
They're going to look at Bruce Arians.
Let me ask you this. Why would an NBA team sign J.J. Redick, Kyle Korver?
Specialist.
That's it. Make threes. Come here, make threes. We signing you to make threes. Be a spot-up shooter.
I love you.
So if you come here and you ain't making no threes, then why you here?
That's not what Tom Brady is.
Tom Brady is
He's
here to win
specialist.
He's
LeBron.
He is a lethal specialist. He is here to win playoff games and Super Bowls.
No, Tom Brady is LeBron. And guess what? When you're LeBron, and if it doesn't work out for you, LeBron, guess what you do? Get a new coach. That's what Tom Brady is.
Under more pressure. LeBron James knows when he got to L.A., he was under the pressure to bring L.A. a chip.
Yep.
Correct?
Did he?
Yes.
Year one?
In 2 years, he won them cats a chip.
This is year one for Brady. Year one for LeBron. Did he do it? No.
Was LeBron hurt?
What happened? What happened?
If Tom Brady was hurt,
quiet.
if Tom Brady was hurt, this would be a different conversation.
I love you.
If Tom Brady
you could just answer my question. We can move forward.
No, your question is biased. Oh, what happened year one? LeBron got hurt. LeBron got hurt in year one.
And did they blame LeBron or did they blame the coach?
They blame LeBron James.
They blamed the coach.
Yes. What you talking about?
Did the coach leave?
How you lying to these people?
Where's Luke Walton at?
How you lying to these
people?
Where'd
Luke Walton go? What happened to Luke Walton? That's my point. You understand? You can't put Tom Brady in a box and call him a specialist. He's no way, no form is he regarded as that. Hey, if that's how you want to believe in your alternate universe you live in,
that's fine. A specialist is special, correct? A special. The word inside a specialist
ain't more
is
special than LeBron.
Tom Brady is the most special when it comes to winning playoff games and winning Super Bowls. You bring Tom Brady to your team to win Super Bowls. Period.
Yes, you do. But we're talking about in case of failure. We're talking about in case of this adversity or the pressure if it doesn't work out. Who are you going to look at? I agree with you. Tom Brady's brought in for a reason. Bruce Arians was too, before Tom Brady. But the point is, if this doesn't work out, they are not looking at departing with Tom Brady before Bruce Arians in this situation. And neither one is going to be gone. Neither one is in the place of insecurity. But the criticism will land greater on Bruce Arians because you have nothing to fight against.
You don't believe this. You don't believe this.
I really do.
Marcellus, we haven't blamed Bruce Arians all season.
Yeah, and that's why they're, what, an 11-win team that's in the playoffs.
Bruce Arians came out and ran the ball a NFL low. Okay. Like in all the games, in all of NFL's entire history, Bruce Arians did something worse than anybody ever did. He called running plays at a worse clip than has ever been called in the entirety of the NFL. And we did this. We batted dice. We batted dice, and we said, oh, Tom Brady, 57% completion percent. My God, Tom Brady, no touchdowns, 3 picks. Like, we didn't even flinch at the fact that Bruce, like, I didn't even know the stat for a couple days. That's how little we talked about it. Bruce Arians is not going to get talked about if and when the Buccaneers lose. Tom Brady is. I don't get how you really don't believe that.
No, I really believe it. And I believe you believe what you're believing. And that's the problem right here, because we're just going to have to agree to disagree because, what is this, Super Bowl 55 going forward this year? And if I look at it correctly, Tom Brady is looking to join Peyton Manning as only quarterbacks to win Super Bowl with 2 teams. That's a rare feat to the point where there's only one person who's done it. So he's trying to be second. Bruce Arians is trying to get his first ring out of 55 opportunities of Super Bowl existence, not all he was capable of playing or coaching in. But the point is, there's a rarity out there that Tom Brady could put himself in that position. Well, Bruce Arians, even if he wins a Super Bowl, people are like, okay, you're a Super Bowl winning head coach. There's a few of them in this league, actually 9. So right now, Bruce Arians is not even trying to do something that is more unique, rarer than Tom Brady is. Tom Brady's trying to do something. He's trying to resurrect the franchise, and you're not going to give that any credit.
Let me calm down.
I love you.
Let me calm down. Let me focus. I'm going to talk to you just heart to heart, man. I'm going to have a civil conversation.
How about flesh to flesh?
That's it. It's a civil
Flesh to
conversation.
flesh.
If you were to hire a CEO who has already led a company to Fortune 500 status, the top company for 10 years running, and you were to steal that CEO over to your corporation.
Yes.
The job of that CEO and the expectation of that CEO is to do what? To bring
Who's the CEO?
To bring the
Brady
same,
or Arians?
To bring the same company to Fortune 500 status. I don't care about what the other
Who's the
head
CEO,
executives there. Tom Brady.
He's a CEO?
Tom Brady is a CEO.
He has more authority than Bruce Arians on his team.
At the point in which Tom Brady has hired, at the point in which Tom Brady has brought over Rob Gronkowski and Antonio Brown, hand selected. At the point in which the head coach Bruce Arians has said Tom Brady, he hand selects the plays. I would say that Tom Brady has more authority from what I've seen. I don't know how you would. The coach said himself that Tom Brady has authority, sir.
Boy, Bruce Arians can live a lot longer as a Tampa Bay Buc than Tom Brady, by age, by birth certificate, and maybe even by outcome, but not by performance. It's basically a pressure cooker for Bruce Arians to get it done because you got the GOAT. We gave you everything. We gave you the roster you wanted. We gave you the quarterback that is the most winning quarterback in the world. I can't wait to hear what the masses think about this one, because Luke Walton had you stumped. You didn't even want to talk about that one.